Welcome to video 5. In this video we will focus on introducing children to different ways of adding and subtracting multi-digit numbers. It is important that we constantly remind our learners and ourselves that the ability to add and subtract small and large numbers accurately and quickly is essential for solving all sorts of calculations and problems. We also need to constantly remind our learners of the language of addition and subtraction. Learners need to know that people use different words for these operations. They can be asked to do addition when people say the words add, sum, plus, more than, raise, combine, together, increase and total. And they can be asked to do subtraction when these words are used: subtract, minus, less than, difference, decrease, take away and deduct. Another important term that children need to know is inverse operations. Children need to understand that inverse operation is a big term used to say the opposite. And this means that addition and subtraction are opposite operations. And this is good news because we can use an inverse operation to check our answers. For example, when we add 5 and 6, the sum is 11. We can check our answer by subtracting 6 from 11 and the answer is 5. Tell learners that knowing the language of addition and subtraction will help them when they have to deal with word sums. Give your learners plenty of opportunity to revise and practice addition and subtraction. They should add and subtract as a matter of routine in your daily mental maths session. And every week they should do quick revision worksheets such as this table. Here learners should add 1000 to 13,254 and then subtract 1000 from 13,254 and so on. And here is another example of a worksheet that learners can do. These worksheets will be made available to you after the video together with a website link where you can download inverse operation practice exercises for learners. Now let's consider teaching learners a couple of different ways in which they can do multi-digit addition and subtraction. This is the normal way in which we do addition, and many children are skilled at doing their sums like this. But there are fun and exciting new ways of doing addition, accurately and quickly. We encourage you to show your children these options so that they can decide which one suits them best. Let's look at a different way to total the multi-digit numbers of 30,652 and 20,363. The normal way of combining the numbers is shown on the right side. A different way of getting the total is shown on the left side. This involves using place values and tally marks as a way to get to the sum. Show your learners how the tally marks are used in the place value columns to show 30,652 and 20,363. Remind your learners to always match up the place values of the numbers. Then explain to learners how the 10,000s, thousands, hundreds, tens and ones can be combined to get to the total sum of 51,015. The table here shows what happens when we have to carry over numbers when using this new way of adding. In the tens place, 5 plus 6 equals 11, but we may only write the 1 and the other 10 tens, which is equal to 100, is carried over to the hundreds place as shown by the arrow. The same rule applies to the hundreds, once again shown by the arrow. The number of tally marks on the left corresponds with the answer of the standard method of multi-digit addition on the right. Once learners have practiced using this approach to addition, ask them how this approach can be used for subtraction. Show learners the normal way of writing out a subtraction sum and then ask them to convert this into the tally mark method. As the learners practice writing out the subtraction sum, explain to them that this technique will help them to visualize the problem and the steps to be followed when finding the difference between 2,789 and 1,437. This is an easy subtraction with no carryovers required. First, let learners get comfortable with this method of visualizing the problem before introducing them to how the carryover will work using tally marks. You can ask your facilitators for examples to use when you get to that stage. Now that your learners have a better understanding of addition and subtraction with multi-digit numbers, we shall concentrate on the various methods we can apply when adding or subtracting 4 to 5-digit numbers. We will now turn our attention to the use of brackets when doing addition and subtraction. The example on the screen demonstrates how we can break down numbers when we have to add 4-digit numbers. Brackets are used to group numbers written in expanded notation according to their place values. The thousands, hundreds, tens and ones are grouped together to simplify the calculation. Learners should be given similar exercises to evaluate their understanding of this method. Explain to your learners that when we subtract 4-digit numbers, we follow a similar pattern to the one followed for addition. The example given on the screen can be used to show learners how 4-digit numbers are grouped in thousands, hundreds, tens and ones to simplify the calculation. Explain how 40 minus 70 is calculated by means of carrying over the 100 and adding it to the 40. Give learners a chance to practice doing subtraction in this way in class, so you can check and correct where needed. On screen as an example of the addition of 5-digit numbers. Show learners how the numbers can be written in expanded notation, matched up in their place values, after which the calculation is done. Explain to learners how brackets can be used to group numbers written in expanded notation according to their place values as seen in the example on the screen. In this example, learners should take note that it is important to always match up the place values of your numbers when using the standard method. Explain to your learners that the calculation in brackets refer to the ones, 4 plus 4, tens, 60 plus 50, hundreds, 800 plus 600, thousands, 6,000 plus 9,000, and 10,000s, 30,000 plus 0. Remind learners that addition and subtraction are inverse operations. They can test their answer through subtraction. 46,518 minus 36,864. Remind them to apply the rule of carrying over where applicable when they do the subtraction.
Learners will probably struggle when they first use the new ways of adding and subtracting. Encourage them to practice until they have mastered these new techniques.
Remind them of the words of Dr. Seuss in his Green Eggs and Ham book. You do not like them, so you say, try them, and you may. If you can get a copy of this fun book from the library and read it to your learners, young and old will enjoy the story. We have reached the end of this video. After completing the quiz about teaching different ways of addition and subtraction, you may continue to our next video on planning.